Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the Footy 5, our last week episode, talking about week 38, some of the things that happened of note and of interest, and some farewells, starting with Guero playing his penultimate match in a Man City shirt. 2 goals in his Premier League swan song as they steamrolled Everton 5-0. We said this one could get ugly, and it did. That's 181 goals in the Premier League. Best for any foreign player. Good for 4th overall. Just 2 goals shy, I believe, of Wayne Rooney's single club record of 183. 260 goals for the club. Obviously, that's a record. 12 hat tricks in the Premier League. That's a record. 4 Premier League titles, including that 2012 clincher against QPR on that just heart-stopping flip-flop of a day between they and Man United. Just a club legend, 8 other major trophies, and we've got big ears trying to creep into his trophy cabinet here. Maybe he's got a shot at that come Saturday the 29th against Chelsea.
Yes. That'd be a huge way to end his career. I'm not sure if he's going to play because it's
I doubt it. Maybe
Chelsea
as a late
aren't
sub.
Yeah, Chelsea aren't Everton. No disrespect to Chelsea or to Everton, but it's a big match, and I think that is he bad now? No, but he's I don't think at the pace required for a match of that stature. Just tremendous player. One of the best, like genuine argument for one of the best players of all time in Premier League history, at least one of the best foreign players of all time. Best striker, very easy argument, not an easy argument, but a argument you could make. He's up there with anybody else, and just synonymous with the club. Man City are a team who, admittedly short history in terms of, I guess globally since the takeover from Sheikh Mansour, but he will probably be one of the biggest legends of that club. And he would be a legend of any club if he put up those numbers and those accolades and what he did for that city and that team. Tremendous player. He's going to be such a loss going to Barcelona.
And that's not Barca getting younger.
Yeah.
I don't understand. If I'm Barcelona, what are you doing?
It's like Messi's like, hey guys, can we please make the team a bit younger? I'd like to get some young, fresh blood around me. And they're like, oh yeah, Joan, get in there. You're the new. I don't know what his position was. GM, general man. I don't know. President of Barcelona. Hey, yeah, let's just go sign your Argentinian friend.
Get Luis Suarez 2.0.
There's so much to talk about there, but anyways, that's not about another discussion.
It's a different show. Different episode.
Tremendous player. I mean, his goal against QPR will be not one of my earliest, but one of my most profound memories as a football fan. I was
like
11 years old. I was 11 years old, less than 11 years old. I was like 10 years old when that goal happened. It was an unbelievable moment in Premier League and football history, and just an incredibly deserving player. And he streams a lot on Twitch, I think, so his face won't be going away anytime soon.
Every time I hear QPR, all I can hear is Louis Van Gaal going,
Queen's Park
Raisins? I can't. That's all I ever hear. That beeping sound is Chelsea backing their way into the Champions League. They did everything they could to not make the top 5. 2-1 loss to Villa at Villa Park. They were dreadful. Absolutely awful. No N'Golo Kante. They lost Edouard Mendy at half. Those are 2 big problems for them facing that Manchester City club come Saturday. At 2-0, I made the comment to you, I think via text, that there's no way they're scoring 3 goals to come back and win this game. You get out ahead of Chelsea, they don't know what to do. They can't score, and they absolutely cannot come from behind. That's how you beat them. You just score first. They need an offensive overhaul. But Grealish is the missing ingredient. He still wasn't all that great for Villa, but just him being on the pitch caused problems for Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I only had 2 screens available to me. Poor me. Woe is me. Such a sad story. Jack, you can only watch 2 Premier League matches. How will you ever survive? But I didn't watch this match because I realized that realistically, it wasn't this match that I was interested in. It was the Liverpool match against Crystal Palace, and it was the Leicester City-Tottenham match because realistically, Chelsea were in the best spot. If they lost their match, but one of the other sides dropped points, they would still most likely make it into the top 4. So it's what it came down to. Leicester out-bottled them. They did a better job of dropping the points required to not make the top 4. Credit to Villa. I mean, we mentioned it, that they could beat Chelsea, I predicted a Chelsea win, but this is not a good sign for them, especially only a few days away from the Champions League final, especially if Edouard Mendy is going to be injured for it. Kepa is a serious downgrade.
Zero faith in Kepa.
Yeah, if you had put some money on Chelsea to win prior to like this match, you'd be upset because the odds are getting like better to bet on Chelsea, but the chances are decreasing because not that Tuchel's being found out, but it seems like a simple concept. But this team is not gonna score. They're not gonna knock your socks off with goals. If you make them hold them at arm's length, like on their forehead, just like push them off. They're not gonna they can't swing. They have short arms.
You got to have Conte in on this match on Saturday against City. He dictates the success of that Chelsea club. Not by just being fast. It's just his presence is such. They are such a different club when he's in there.
He hasn't even been that good this season, but he's still been such an integral part.
He's a huge presence.
Work rate and his presence is missed deeply.
But good job by Grealish to annoy Azpilicueta to get him sent off. That was the best thing that he did in this one. Goodbye, Harry Kane. 245 appearances in the Premier League for Spurs. 166 goals, 34 assists, 3-time Golden Boot winner, 6-time Player of the Month winner. Total 326 matches played for the club. 213 goals, 42 assists. That's according to FootballReference.com. 24 goals in each of the last 7 seasons. That is remarkable consistency. Yeah. And he's been nicked up a little bit. Wants to stay in the Premier League, but you've got the Manchesters, the West London clubs that are after him. I feel bad for him because with Pochettino, you thought they had an actual shot, and the club has kind of fallen apart since he was let go.
You changed the title. I had written it as Harry, like as in hair, and then Kane as in like a cane you walk with.
I thought it was a misspelling.
And then you just changed both of them, and then you forgot to change the Kane. So now we look like idiots. But that's no different than usual.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can fix that.
Nah. I mean, Harry Kane. We'll take it. Half right, half wrong.
I only got it half fixed, is what I thought. Was a half mistake, and it wasn't really a mistake at all.
So I mean, he is. If you're buying a striker, the best in the world, in my opinion. I think he's better than Lewandowski because his playmaking ability is unbelievable. Not that Lewandowski can't do that.
Younger than Lua also.
He's about 4 years younger than him. So if you're going to buy one striker for next season to give you the best chance of being a great football team, I won't say win trophies because he hasn't won trophies. You want to make yourself a good football team, Harry Kane is your guy. He's going to cost an arm and a leg because he is 3 years on his contract. He'll be going to a rival. So it's tough to see him actually literally leaving unless very late in the window Kane's I ain't playing here anymore. You got to get me out of here. And then a bid that's much lower than they would accept comes in. But it feels like the end.
$100 million plus.
It feels like it's the end. And then also that price for a guy who's almost 28 years old, that's a tough sell in my opinion. If you're Sheikh Mansour and you can look, Erling Haaland is 7 years younger, not nearly the playmaker, but Pep Guardiola could do wonders with Erling Haaland. He would have no struggle with that. So I'm interested what happens next for him, but right now it feels like it's a goodbye.
Sad as that is. I don't like seeing him go, but it's time. I do agree. Liverpool managed to back their way into the top 3 by virtue of winning their last 5, picking up a lot of points over the last 10 matches or so. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you have to laud what Klopp and that club did. They were 10 points down behind Leicester with 10 matches to go. And to make up that ground with the struggles they've had defensively with 16 different center back pairings across 38 matches is a ridiculous number of injuries that they've suffered defensively. And, yeah.
Yes. I mean, he is one of the best managers in world football, one of the best managers in Liverpool Football Club history. And it's a huge accomplishment. I'd argue this is like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 season, even though there was no trophies and you only got top 4. That's such a huge deal because realistically next season, what's the hangover from this year? there's almost nothing except for maybe the lingering injuries of Gomez, Matip, and Van Dijk, like the recovery process for them. But they're able to go into next season without the thought of, oh man, 2020, 2021 sucked. We're not in the Champions League anymore. They were able to avoid that problem that would plague them for the next 12 months by a serious upturn in form. I will critique Klopp a little bit. I think Fabinho never should have left the midfield because he was such an integral part.
It broke everything.
Yeah, it's tough to say, hey, just toss Nat Phillips and Reece Williams in there. Much easier said
Who
than
they didn't
done.
even have. Like Reece Williams, they didn't even have. He was playing like 6th division football.
Yeah,
Like,
so
in the 6th tier or something like that.
yeah, there's Liverpool would have changed a lot of things about this season if they knew what was going to happen. But finishing third with the injuries you've had is a tremendous season, and it comes down to this last 10 match form, which is a remarkable table to look at.
A lot of numbers. Go big screen on this one. But over the last 10 matches, Liverpool took 26 of the 30 points on offer. Conversely, Leicester, who they were chasing, took 16 of those 30. This is the second season. I saw a stat somewhere where they've had 93% of the time over the last 2 seasons, they've been in the top 4 only to finish 5th both times.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily, it's depth, but look at what Leeds did. Nobody plays harder, works harder than Leeds did, and yet they picked up 23 out of their last 30, right? So
Yeah.
there's something with the tactics or something with that setup. Rodgers can't get he can't get it over the line for whatever reason, and I'm not sure what it is yet, but
Yeah.
they were just tired. They were exhausted in that match.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds, statistically, run more, sprint more than anybody else in the Premier League. And they are not tired out. So Leicester obviously have had a lot of injury problems this season, nearly as bad as Liverpool's. Theirs was, I think, less long-term but more like spread out, where it was really testing the depth of your squad in a lot of places. And they just couldn't respond. And I think, honestly, if they hadn't had the heartbreak of last year, they're in the Champions League right now. They wouldn't have dropped their heads at some points in this late in the season. And it's a problem. 5th place is great for a club like Leicester. But the issue is, I think they want to be pushing that a bit more. Top 4 was realistic for 2 straight seasons, and you threw it away twice. Such a huge loss. The last thing I want to hit on
The financial difference is enormous.
It's enormous, and it would be such a huge pull for players to say, "Look, we're Leicester City. Yes, we're not Arsenal. We're not Tottenham, but we finished 3 places above them. We are in the Champions League." They can't do that though. They have to stick with the Europa League. So unfortunate there. And the last thing I want to hit on is Arsenal. I mean, 3rd in that form table.
3.
I mean, like, decent results at the end of the season to get them into 8th place. No Europe, obviously, but
Progress? Is it enough?
I mean, saying 6 wins, 2 draws, in 10 matches is not really like, wow, Arsenal are back, maybe. But it's like, maybe that's it's not 0 points. That's what I'll say. 20 out of 30 is if you do 20 out of 30 points, like up like 2
2/3 of your point on offer.
Yeah, 2 points a match. That's borderline title-winning form. Like, what would that be? That'd be 76 points over an entire season.
Yeah, 86 won it this year for City.
Yeah. So you'd be off the title slightly, but if you're able to keep that form up over an entire season, way easier said than done. This club is, I mean, I don't know how many points they have currently, but they have a lot more if they had kept this form up over the entire season.
The other thing that's interesting here is the West Ham, Chelsea, Newcastle, all on 17 points over those last 10, right? We lamented how bad Newcastle were given the talent that they forgot, but Steve Bruce did something down towards the end.
Yeah.
Chelsea, we've talked about kind of falling apart towards the end, and West Ham, they're going to Europa League, right? So that's a great finish for David Moyes in that club. But it's just a strange grouping. And then you got Spurs, less than half the points on offer. They got 14 of their 30.
Spurs will be the most
right?
upset. I mean, also because, they sacked Mourinho not too long ago, like not more than 10 matches ago. So like, they just they didn't even have a new manager kicking the pants because they've already had so many of those kicks in the pants. That's just like, oh, there's a new fella yelling at us in training about what Cohen's throwing around.
I want Nuno to go to Spurs to see what he can do there.
That would be interesting. But I don't think Spurs would pull the trigger on a guy that not inexperienced, obviously, but
I got Ryan Mason in as caretaker right now. He's 29 years old. He's barely older than you.
Barely older. He's a decade older than me. I'm not that old yet.
But I mean, I don't know what they do. Who do they go after? And then what do you do with $100 million with Kane? It's a separate topic, but I agree with you on Arsenal being 3 here. Is a pretty remarkable finish for Arteta in that club. United and City kind of tailing off a little bit. City, I think, was just their focus is elsewhere, right? They just want to get Champions League done. I think the last 10, it was just a matter of when are they going to just clinch, right? Obviously, it took a little bit longer. United played a little bit better. They stumbled quite a bit, obviously. But.
You know what's actually interesting is if United hadn't dropped so many points in the last few weeks, only dropping 10 is what this says, right? But that was it
6 behind? No, 8
I think
behind.
there were 10 behind, if I'm not mistaken.
I got it right here. 12 behind. 12 points.
Oh, 12 behind, okay. So, just get 30 points from 30. Easy. It's not that easy, obviously, but, you think about this Man United side. I know we're lingering on this a lot. There's a lot of takeaways you can make from this slide, but how bad they were at the beginning of the season with that loss to Tottenham, with the terrible home form they've had. They're one of only 3 sides, I believe, in Premier League history to go unbeaten away from home. That's a ridiculous stat. They did nothing with it. So I'm excited to see
those middle 18 to 20 matches for them, but that made a difference. Because they didn't, to your point, they didn't start strong. They didn't finish great. 20 out of 30 is still pretty good. We're lauding Arsenal for doing it. I guess you got to give United credit as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. For the last week, we will do a season wrap-up and see how our predictions did. Spoiler alert.
No.
Meh.
No.
Not bad. Jack, Conrad, this has been the Footy 5. Please do like, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Look for us on the Twitter at the Footy 5. Take care now.